Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. You know, yeah, this right here forever.
Hello and welcome to MMA Uncaged, episode 5. Proudly brought to you by Ginger Fox Coffee. Fantastic coffee, guaranteed to make you as clever as a fox. Check out gingerfoxcoffee.com for more information. Get your hands on some world-class coffee beans. Joining me as always, Gareth Soldier Boy McClellan. But we've also got a special edition, a guy who is world qualified, one of the top judges on the continent. He's one of the legends of MMA, Justin Ferrier. Justin, how are you keeping and what you been up to these days?
Yeah, good, thanks. I don't know if you should throw around that word legend around such people I've got around me, but thank you. I'm good. I'm bored, is the word. Not able to judge any fights officially, but watching on TV.
No, for sure. UFC250 obviously was awesome. Gareth, your thoughts? I mean, initially, let's start with Amanda Nunes. $450,000 after a spectacular night. She really is in a class of her own, isn't she?
She just showed everybody that she's just too far ahead at the moment. I don't really see anybody. In fact, if I went through the whole roster, I don't think there's anybody that could match her. I think she would have to lose quite a lot of weight to get down to Shevchenko. I don't think she could do that. I think that would be probably the only fight that would make sense. Right now, I know there was a few other names that were thrown on the table, but just her display is just, she's got too much confidence. She knows exactly what she's good at. And the funny thing is she showed incredible wrestling in the fight. Her takedowns were just seamless. It just looked like she was playing with one of her low-level sparring partners in her ground control was excellent. Her ground and pound was just super dominant. She just got this air about herself, and it's going to take a freak moment to stop her. That's what I think. I mean, if I go to freak moments, I think Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva, never there, was never meant to be there against the greatest of all time. And look, a little bit of playing around and boom. So I think that's really the only way we're going to see the end of her. What next? I find it really hard to find a name that's worthy. Maybe a Chris Cyborg too. I think Chris Cyborg, knowing what she's facing, could be a different fight. I think she's the only person that can give her the fight that she's looking for.
And compete, maybe.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, her skill level's just on another. You know, when you win like that and you just keep winning so convincingly, your confidence and your air about yourself and the things that you see and the way that you see things change altogether, and you become a runaway train. If I look at her, I put her kind of in the same league as John Jones. You know, but she's had losses before, but she's just evolved into this predator that is just.
That's the word, G. That's the word. She continued to evolve. She didn't get Champions League. She got a loss out of her way early, and she didn't get that dreaded Champions disease that you end up worrying about. You instead of going on the offensive, you kind of like fight to be defensive and to keep your crown. And she just doesn't really care. She just seems to carry on going and snowballing, like a massive snowball effect.
I think if we look at what you're saying is you look at a guy like Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley was just this guy who was on a charge, was just walking through everybody, won the title, and all of a sudden backpedaled. He just kind of found an easy way to win. He knew that no one could take him down. He knew he had a right hand that if you put it on your chin, it would make you go to sleep, and it kind of just it kept everybody at their tracks. And then he just did enough to win, and that kind of thing eventually caught up to him.
Yeah, but also with Tyron Woodley, like for example, a lot of guys look really good when they strike fear into people. So when you know you've got somebody, they become static, and they become this non-moving target to hit. And I think that's what Woodley. People go like, okay, cool, he's scary, he's dominant, but somebody's going to go down and analyze him and say, right, how do we beat this person? We put him on the back foot. And wrestlers generally, it's a very, very general term, don't really know what they're going to do off their back. We put them on the back foot, it's uncharted territory because everything is top dominance.
Look, I think the only person that has really been dominant over Amanda Nunes is Katsangana. That was a long time ago, and Katsangana just out-wrestled her. I think that's the only weakness that she has. That if she came up against a really strong wrestling combatant, she might have trouble. But for now, no, not much.
I mean, you look at Felicia Spencer. She took abuse. I mean, she took some serious punishment. And I think early on in the fight, that one punch that Nunez landed, and all of a sudden, Spencer was like, wow, the power
and she
is
didn't just
real.
land it. She rattled her.
Snapped her neck back. It was insane.
The way that she threw those combinations was vicious. It was with intent. And it was such a, for me, I was watching her demeanor, like she was smiling the whole time. She thought it was like she was having it was quiet. There wasn't that pressure. She was super relaxed. And she didn't get complacent at one moment. She literally just steamrolled her. Look, Spencer, super, super tough chin. She took some most of those punches have put most of the girls away. So for her, maybe a little bit too tough at stages, but just got gun shy. She got hit too hard and then was just kind of surviving the whole way through.
Do you think the fight should have been stopped sooner? Do you think that, what do you think? Because, I mean, everyone was going,
there was a stage in the fifth round. I think there was a stage in the fourth round and the fifth round where they could have stopped the fight. But she didn't, they didn't. And she got up and she kept fighting. That was, I mean, Daniel Cormier kept on talking about that and saying that she just, she keeps fighting. She just keeps going. She doesn't, she didn't back off. Once she got up, she got off the floor after taking some savage elbows. She started moving. She didn't look like she was a deer in the headlights. She just didn't do enough. She didn't have enough skill set. You could see that her skill set was just not there to compete.
Justin, I mean, you've been in the corner many times. You've been involved on all sorts of facets of MMA. When do you make that call? Because it's so tough, especially if it's for a gold strap. How do you just pull your fighter? You know what I mean? How do you throw in the towel? Because I know safety is a big thing, but what's your take?
You're talking to somebody that touches me very deeply. Yes, I was in the corner for somebody who was defending a title who got demolished. If I have the brain I have now, I would have pulled him, but I'd made a promise not to. But again, it is a very personal choice. The ref you got to leave it up to the ref. And like G was saying, it wasn't in a situation where it was unanswered. She would answer on the 5th, answer on the 6th. She would just give that reason not to. And when there's a strap on the line, it means so much. It is very tough. It is a very tough decision to make. I probably would have pulled her. But if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have said never in my life. So people do grow and evolve and change.
So, but in saying that, I mean, let's have a look at if we compare the kind of savage beating she took. But then you saw a fight like Joanna and how bad she was and what bad shape she was in, but yet she was still fighting like a savage. So what is in that space? What is the right thing to do? Here you got a girl, she's still in the fight, she's doing her best to move forward, she's getting cracked. You got in another fight where the damage was way worse, yet she was still in the 5th round. There was still a question of she could have maybe won this thing, So it's a hard line for any corner, for any judge, and for any ref to know when is the right time. Stop it too early. The guys, why didn't you let it go? I was fine. And we've seen it happen. We've seen guys look really hurt, and the ref stops it, and the fighter's going, well, I'm fine. I just leave me alone. I should have carried on. And then you see situations where people are catching savage beatings, yet the ref allows it to carry on. I don't know. It's a tough space, and I think it's always going to be an issue.
I think the difference there was that Joanna was always in the fight in terms of she could have clawed it back. Whereas in this particular instance, she was so far. No, hear me out. But she was so far. This is what we've got to decide. This is what the referees are for. But she was so far behind in the cards that there was no way she could have won without there being a chance of a flash knockout or a submission, which was unlikely because Nunez beat her everywhere.
But maybe this is a stage where the doctor's got to be the voice of reason, where the doctor's got to go, okay, it's too much punishment. She's taking
so the rules are
to the head, and that the long-term effect. I mean, I don't know.
It's hard, G. The rules are the referee is full and final decision. But I've never met a referee on this planet that will go against a doctor. You know, 100%. If a doctor goes and if a doctor says, "Listen, there's a problem here," I think you'd be throwing your career down the drain if you went against a medical professional. Yeah. You know, not some, especially somebody who's educated in combat sports.
Yeah.
My opinion, I would have seen her. I would have seen Johanna if I was in her corner in round 4. I would have been like, time out. Yeah. I mean,
your brain has come through your skull.
You see her now, and she still suffers. Her face is very black here. She's got very black rings under her eyes. You can see that there's damage, and she's not going to be able to fight for a very, very long time again. And,
I even wonder what a medical suspension is. It would be a year, 18 months.
Easy.
Huge.
But let me put the shoe on the other foot, Gareth. I mean, you've been out there, you fought. I mean, was there ever a time when you were going like, you know, maybe what's the thinking when you're there? When you're taking shots and you're getting beaten, you can't just give up.
I mean, my fight in Poland when I fought against Bartosz Fabinski, I mean, he literally just beat me up I stayed in the fight. He couldn't put me away. I was continuously always working to try and better myself, get a position. You know, I think there were 2 or 3 opportunities for guillotines. I was on the feet, the exchanges on the feet, I was winning. But once we hit the ground, his physical presence was just so much for me. And he literally, I think in the one round, I think in total, I think it was 172 elbows in the fight. And I mean, they were never massive elbows, but they were just constant grinding. And although I was getting smashed and I was taking a beating, I never felt like, okay, well, I'm out of this. I mean, I can remember standing up in the second round or the beginning or the end of the first round and saying to Rich in the corner, and someone was like, "Rich, I can't see." It was so fuzzy that I had, and I'd been rocked by my knee, and I was so fuzzy I couldn't really see. And I said to him, "I can't see." And he said to me, "Well, what do you want to do?" And then, you know, I'm like, "No, let's go." Yeah. So I think it's just you're so designed to fight that I don't think your mentality is anywhere else, even though you are injured. I mean, I've trained with many different injuries and stuff like that, and you just become accustomed to things. So again, you can't leave it in my hands and say to me, "What do I feel?" Because I'm going to say I'm going. Yeah. You know, that's just how we designed. It's how we wired. We're never going to put our hand in and go, "Okay, no, I want out." Never. So
it becomes a proud thing.
Smart decisions have got to be made, and somebody in the corner's got to take that responsibility. Or instead of putting it on there, the doctor who comes in and checks and goes, "Okay, this doesn't look right." Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that a doctor allowed that fight to carry on the way that it did.
No, I agree. Speaking of which, let's move along to there was some insane knockouts. I mean, Cody Garber that was a buzzer beater of notes. I mean, they played it over and over. It was awesome to watch. But you know, Cody just looks like he's version 2.0. He's broken the 3-fight skid. He's back with a bang. And
he's been knocked out 3 times. So I mean, it's not like that. Just shows you the sport. The sport is you're never over. It's never too late. You can change it at any time. Winning streaks and losing streaks will always come for every fighter. You will go through a stage where you will lose 2 or 3 in a trot. It happens to every great fighter. It happens to every fighter, whether it's at the end of your career, whether it's in the beginning of your career, whether it's in the middle of your career. It's how do you handle that? You know, he went home, he changed things. I think he's matured a lot as a fighter. He's not a youngster anymore. He's got a family. He's got kids. His mindset is about his family environment, and that does put a lot of grounding. I think he was very young when he won the title. There was a lot of arrogance, very brash.
Change of team, maybe.
Yeah, good. Yeah, a change of personnel
He
can make a difference.
He was carrying a burden not his own by being an alpha male, and I think there was a lot of pressure that didn't need to be there. Like there's enough pressure. I can't speak for you, but there's enough pressure as a fighter, being in condition, being in shape, being in weight, being professional, and then to win, and then to have the pressure of your team breathing down your neck to win for them can be too much. And I think sometimes, and it doesn't, like, change of scenery doesn't have to be on bad terms. And I think change of scenery for him, a little bit of growing up, a little bit of maybe a change of training. Like, gee, you would change 10 years ago, you were training completely differently to how you train now, and you've got better output now than you did then.
No, 100%. I think that just comes with experience, and I think he's had the experience. I think he's also faced the worst part of MMA. He was on the saw. He was this fast riser and electric, and everybody was like, oh, Cody, boom. Dropped 4 on the ground, and then it didn't get better, just kept on the same path, made the changes, and now all of a sudden he just showed he just showed his class that he's always had. He's always been a high-level guy. He's always been a guy that I fancied, and just a savage knockout. Just good head slip, good rock, and he knew what he was doing all the time. He drew him in. You could see that he was, with the feints, he was drawing him in. Got him to commit on the jab, slip, boom, and on the money. Oh, jaw separator. Jaw separator.
It was a thing of beauty, wasn't it? I mean, it just was a thing of beauty. The way it happened, it was amazing.
Still, the guy didn't reach for it, didn't push for it, just let the timing happen, and it came.
And lightning. Oh,
yeah, it was so fast.
It was just so fast. I mean, it was ridiculous. Pop! And just walked off like it was okay. Yeah, you know, it's like he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, worth 50,000 performance bonus for sure. But he said he just waited for him to almost get complacent. To close the distance, bang, happened.
He just had, but you could see he had such a size difference and reach difference. He was so in control, even on the back foot the whole time. He was just in control of the exchanges, and you could see that he wasn't in a rush. He wasn't in a rush to get it done. He wasn't chasing the knockout. He allowed the knockout to come to him. And the guys that have that speed and that power, and once they found that space, a guy who did that was Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva knew that he could knock you out. He just needed to touch you once. And he became comfortable with that, and he didn't chase it. He allowed it to come to him. That's when you start making the mistakes, because he reacts on your reaction. He's not chasing you, and that's where the knockouts came. He's quick enough. He's got sniper reflexes. His target is impeccable, and he's got the power. Now all he needs to do is get you to commit. You make the mistake, and boom. I was really stoked for him. I think he deserved it. I've always liked him, and it just puts him back in, and it wakes everybody up, and everybody goes, "Oh, okay, hold on." You know, a good knockout like that does great confidence for a person.
Teen Wolf is back.
Yeah.
Some dodgy hairdo there, it must be said though. But I'm not going to tell him that. Let's not sugarcoat the next thing. Sean O'Malley. He's an exciting prospect. A walk-off KO. That was awesome to see.
I'll let you. He missed so badly with the head kick, and then he just it was this effortless. Well, I'm just going to punch you. And I didn't. Okay. It's almost like he didn't expect it.
It was like a movie. Like it played out like a movie. Like a spinning kick missed, kind of like a kung fu capoeira kick from the floor, spin around, and as he turned, it was just boom,
on the money.
Sleep.
But bro, his tattoos are bad.
He stretched him.
What?
And his hair's bad, and his tattoos are bad, and he's
so bad, bro.
And he's nowhere. He's absolutely nowhere. But one thing
entertaining. I'll buy a ticket.
He can fight. Oh,
yeah.
I love him. He's got good ground. He can wrestle, and he has top-notch striking. I mean, again, another knockout, another 50 grand. Thanks very much. Hit him, walked off. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
He's also super tall.
Yeah. But his range is he's a John Jones kind of range fighter. Can kick you from outside kicking range. Can strike from outside punching range. You're not sure about his range with you. I mean, I fought a guy like that. They were Magnus Siedenblatt. When they're that tall, they're that much taller than you. You're never sure where you're safe and where you're not. Your safe zones on a normal fight day is different. So unless you're really able to train with a high quality striker that has that range, it can be very difficult.
The rule of thumb is if you miss with your leg, you can't touch me with your hands. I think that's why they're part of
Yeah.
Well, he's missed me with a kick, so I'm fine. But his ability to cover distance, hello.
So, I think his arms are so long, he's like an orangutan.
But I mean, we can get excited about Sean O'Malley. I mean, he's the type of guy that's going to put bums on seats, despite the dodgy tats and the weird hair.
I had a conversation with Martin Volkswagen today, and we were talking about him. And I tell you what, that he was saying, he's not sure. And I was like, guys, let me tell you something. That kid is definitely going to be a superstar, and he's going to be a world champion. I promise you.
You think a champion or a superstar? I agree with you on the superstardom. I agree with you on the charisma. Does he have what it takes to be a champion?
I think so.
Because he'll always get paid. There's no question. He's a guy that's entertaining and is always a talking point, so we'll always get on the main card. But is he good enough to be a champ?
Well, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, he's got to prove that he's going to get the fights. But don't listen to me. Trust me. I promise you. He's got an Israel Adesanya swagger to him. He's got the same striking ability. He's got that same range. He believes in himself more than anybody else. He doesn't need anybody around him to tell him how good he is. He knows that. And he's murking guys. He doesn't look uncomfortable. He had a 2-year layoff, came back after 2 years layoff, knocked the guy out. So I'm inclined to see, and his performance was impeccable against Eddie Warner. He's no joke. He's been around a long time. He's been around the block. He's seen it all.
He wasn't teed up for a win. That's for sure. It was a fair fight.
Yeah. It was going to be. Look, he put his hand up, and that's the thing. It's at those times. The guys with that X factor, that special thing. When it comes time to produce, they produce. And they produce at such a level that makes everybody sit up and go, "Oh, hang on!" And don't be surprised if he's fighting a top 5 guy very soon.
I think isn't he fighting Dodson soon? Isn't that being lined up?
Again, too much distance, too tall against a little guy. Dodson's too small.
Yeah,
he's going to have to overcome so much to cause him a problem, and he's going to have to try and wrestle him at stages. And the kid's wrestling is really good, and so is his jits. And he poses a very dangerous threat on the floor as well. People don't know that.
The bantamweight division is a shark tank at the moment. It's got some serious gamers, doesn't it?
Full of hungry little killers. They just want to eat each other.
Little junkies.
They just want to little junkie section.
Little junkies.
And they're off.
I feel like they're on fast forward. Like times 1.5 when you watch it fight.
Have you ever met a jockey?
Yeah.
He's probably the most aggressive person that you know.
Absolutely.
So these are little aggressive jockeys who know how to fight.
With all due respect, like angry chickens. They really resemble angry chickens.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's move along now. One thing I want to touch on is that lower leg kick has been used through all these UFC events, the fight nights, 250. It seems to be a weapon of choice that just chops down any movement from your opponent. What's the thinking behind that?
I've got a theory. It's anti-wrestling. So they kick for the ankle, and it takes away your front foot, which you need to plant down for the takedown. I've seen it at two world championships amateur level, and that's how the Russians were dominant, and they weren't so dominant this past year because they got their ankles kicked out from underneath them. And it's a weird thing because if you lift your foot up off the floor to check it, your ankle goes right out from underneath you and you fall. Or if you sit down and plant that foot, your ankle is very sore. What is your opinion, G? You got more of a you'll know more about this.
It's such an interesting thing because I mean, have you ever been kicked in the ankle?
It's very sore.
Next time I see you, let me kick you in the ankle so you can understand. When you when you get caught in that calf and that Achilles tendons, it's such a sensitive muscle in that it seizes so quickly, and you only need two good solid strikes to that lower kind of top half of the Achilles onto the calf, and you debilitate people like you can't believe. They can't apply pressure, they can't move, takes away their ability to react quickly, they can't plant to throw, their footwork goes out. A wrestler needs his base. He needs to be able to drive through that ankle and through his legs on the takedowns. If he can't do that, if he can't put pressure, it almost becomes like a dead leg. That's what it becomes like. It really just becomes like I mean, you remember in the old days when you used to get mousies? Remember at school you used to walk past your connection and hit him in the shoulder. Pah! Have a mousie. It's that same thing. It rushes all the blood to the calf. And it's really, I mean, we got to understand that we're in a fighting sport. You got to fight the body, the whole body. You know, you've got to attack the whole body. And it was kind of something that was used now and again. But now, because of its effectiveness, it really can shut down a really good wrestler, and it can shut down a really good striker. I mean, you pepper somebody's leg hard enough, it's game over.
Yeah, you kick that ankle and the guy, yeah.
The problem with it, though, trying to hit that thing, you can check it, and if you check it and you check it well, that you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
What are they meta? What is on the hands? What is on the hands? Metacarpals or metatarsals?
Yeah,
one of them.
Carpals, yeah.
Yeah, they hurt and they hurt. But what it does do is I've seen guys roll their ankle on it. So let's say, for example, you're on a walk and you half step on a stone. Same effect. The guys will sit down, the guys will plant down on it. Now they've rolled their ankle. Now a wrestler who needs that unlikely ability to change stances to southpaw, for example, if he's orthodox, taking his tool away. Now he's got to strike, and maybe he's uncomfortable striking.
I mean,
I had it when I was in Brazil. I was training, not Brazil, when I was fighting in Brazil against Bortino. I was training in New Zealand, and I took a calf kick, and I actually rolled my ankle on it. I kicked, and I tried to plant my foot to kind of check it, and it scooped my ankle right from underneath me, and it rolled over the top of my ankle. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's very dangerous. It's incredibly effective. It's like the side kick to the knee. These are kind of things that we're like, oh, you don't really do it. But I think the progression of fighting and the level that we get at and what you experience inside there, you know, you're looking for every advantage. I think great assets. You know, if you can.
Well, wrestlers have dominated for so long, they've had to find a way to beat that. And this is one of the tools to beat them.
Isn't this?
That's what Amanda Nunes did to Spencer. Just kick that front leg to pieces, that calf. She couldn't put pressure on it, so she couldn't shoot quick enough on it. She couldn't attack the takedowns like she wanted to. You know, I mean, yeah, I think you're going to see more and more of those kind of type of things as the sport goes along, and guys are always finding new ways to create a problem for you.
I mean, this is MMA evolving, isn't it? The approach, as you said, wrestlers have dominated for so long. Now they're negating at the wrestlers. So it's interesting. Chaps, let's move right along. I don't know if you've just seen Dana White has announced the Fight Island location and 3 title fights. Have you seen that?
So the title fights I have seen. I saw the fights. One was Yana versus
Aldo.
Sorry,
it's Aldo. Yeah, Jan versus
Aldo.
Aldo.
Against Aldo. Crack of a fight. I think that's for the bantamweight title. Am I correct?
Yeah, Volkanovski against Holloway is another one.
Oh, good. That's going to be a humdinger again. There, guy who utilized leg kicks so well. It was against Holloway, and it just took away. You take away a guy's legs, you take away his steam train.
Yeah,
he can't. Max Holloway just couldn't put the tempo on him from getting that front leg drop. That's good old fashioned. Let me tell you something. Good old fashioned K1 fighting. Good hand combos, hard leg kick.
Yeah,
hard.
And then the fight I'm most excited about, Kamaru Usman against Mr. Burns.
Oh, I told you, my boy.
That's your boy.
My boy's coming hard. Listen,
Burns.
Listen, I think Burns he's got the aggression to put. Listen, Kamar's also got savage power. Kamar's wrestling is incredible, but then Burns' wrestling and ground game is also next level. It's the perfect matchup. I think if there's anybody who could physically take on Kamaru Usman, I think Kamaru Usman is physically stronger than most of the welterweights out there. It's a good physical matchup against a youngster who just wants to make you die. And
I think Usman is going to have to stop a showboating because he's got such a high-level competitor coming against him that he's not going to have time to do funny things with his hands.
Wow, they come from the same gym, so they know each other very, very well.
Very interesting matchup.
Very interesting fight.
That's happening at Abu Dhabi, hey? Yas Island.
July
Abu Dhabi,
July 11th, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where it is? Is that where Fight Island is in Abu Dhabi?
It's being revealed. Being revealed.
So they're building an island for them.
It sounds like
probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They push rubber into the sea. Yeah. We're going to some sand in the sea.
There's an island. Have it.
There it is. Have it.
Hey, can you handle that?
Can we please touch on a guy that you guys both admired? Justin, you've met him. Conor McGregor retires again. What do you make of this? Is this just a bit of showboating?
I love the Oak. He's a great guy, actually, when I met him.
Yeah.
It's just, I read a thing that Joe Rogan said. He tried, and he thought it was an insult. He tried to take the heat and the light of 250 and take it away from those fighters and put it on himself. And I don't like it. I don't like it. You must let people have their time in the sun. He's doing it for effect, I think, and it's tiring. It's like, oh, come on, man. Again, you're trying to stay relevant, and it's a little bit annoying, to be honest. I think he's great. I think what he's done for the sport, I don't think anyone else could do to shine a light on it, because you no longer have to explain what MMA is, because he told everybody for us. But that is, for me, it's enough now.
Listen, I think for the kind of money that he's put in the bank, I think there's not much keeping him. And I think a title shot against Khabib is what he's after. And the fact that he didn't get the opportunity, I think they were lobbying hard for the opportunity against Justin Gaethje, and that they would have to wait would mean he would have to wait till the end of the year. And I don't think he's in a place where he wants to wait. I don't think he's not desperate for the fight. I think, listen, who knows? It was he could retire next minute. He's boxing Floyd again. You know what I mean? He's a smart guy. He never does anything just off the whim. There's always a plan to what he's doing. Don't be surprised if there's something up his sleeve when he comes back and everybody is.
There's no, but this is it. We know he's coming back. This is not him saying goodbye. We know that it's a ploy or a tactic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to be honest, at the moment, the UFC is one of the few sports that you can watch on television. They could put me versus the janitor, and people are going to watch it because they starve for content.
Yeah. They
don't need these huge names to pull numbers. No. Currently, going forward, yes.
Yeah.
Currently, they could put 2 rats to fight and it'll be fine, because people just want to see it. Like the first question, what are you doing? I'm bored. I miss fighting.
Yeah.
You could put anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's on the card. and they're going to tune in and watch it. Oh, they can hype it up enough. You know, why would they overpay Conor right now? And not overpay, pay what he's worth, because he's worth a lot of money. But why are they going to spend that type of money when they don't need to?
Yeah,
They're still selling numbers.
And they're building an island.
100%. So that's my opinion. Right now, going forward, it might not be the best plan. But he's also, the UFC is not afraid to put Conor on ice as well.
Yeah.
I think it was UFC200, he tried to pull a move, and they just said, nope, you're not fighting.
Yeah.
But how much do you think it is? How much do you think it's got to do with John Jones getting out of a light heavyweight and giving his belt back, Henry Cejudo giving his belt back, Masvidal Khan now coming in forward and saying, release me? How much do you think it's just Conor jumping on that bandwagon and putting pressure?
Well, this is it. And I'm going, well, why do you want to put pressure on a company that's, no matter what business you're in at the moment, you're under pressure, including the fight business, because they can't do live events. They can't sell tickets. That's always the cream. Yes, they can sell content, but they can't sell the cream. So chronologically, who did it first? Who was the first one to say there's a problem? So John Jones, bad place at the moment, shooting out the car, annoying. Like there's a meme that I've got somewhere in my phone that says, when I die, I want John Jones to lower me down into the grave one so he can let me down one more time. And it's frightening because I love John Jones.
Yeah.
And it's like he's in a bad headspace. So you're no different. He felt he's accomplished everything more. I think maybe he knew that he can't hold on to three things at once. And maybe there's him jumping on the Masvidal. I look at him and I looked up at it. I looked up his record. It's 35-13. Never mind all the backyard fights that he did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. So you're a spectacle. You're a talking point. You're really cool. But you're not really in that. You can't be throwing around your name because the media and hype that is the UFC has made you. Yes, your skills take nothing away from it, but let's find a way, you know what I mean, to work both ways. Don't jump on the bandwagon and say, because where are you going to go to? Who's going to pay you? Where else can you do a live event of that nature?
You're spot on.
That's
Guys,
the way I feel.
Guys, we're running out of time here. Let's quickly wrap things up. Obviously, another fight night around the corner. We've got I against Cavillo happening. Your thoughts going into this one?
G?
Yeah, look, I mean, again, probably not the biggest names. Good quality fighters. I think they're both. I think there's going to be. I think there's again. Look, we look at it. Which card was it that we were talking about, and we said where it was just a good card. I think it was the Wednesday card.
Yeah, wasn't it?
And I think it was headlined by
Anthony Smith. No,
Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a really great card. So again, I think these guys are just happy that they're going to fight. I think that they've been desperate to get an opportunity, and now their opportunity is there. And I think they're going to grab it. I think they're going to come prepared. They're going to come. They're going to work hard. They're going to fight hard, and they're going to put on a show. And I think that's all that anybody could ask for at this present time. It'll
be entertaining for true fight fans.
Yeah.
So yes, they aren't the biggest names. It's going to be too. It's like I have a passion for watching amateurs fight. That's a Saturday afternoon in a sweaty gym somewhere. That's my go. This is what they're using the stock that they've got because they don't have much. And I think these guys are going to rise to the occasion. They're going to see it as their chance at stardom. And it is. They're paying money, $50,000 to a non-earner when they're earning a little bit of money. It's a big opportunity. And if they can headline a card, they're going to be all in.
Look, I mean, there's a good skill set there, both sides in the main fights. I think that they are very high quality on a skill set side. They're not big name pullers. So, like Big J said, it's pretty much going to be a fight fan's card. So if you're really a big fight fan and you are a fighter yourself or you're within the industry, it's something you'll watch and you'll be entertained and you'll be like, oh, those are good quality. Is it going to be a massive attraction? Who knows? I mean, people, like they said, are desperate to watch fights. So you never know who's going to be online. You never know who's going to be watching those on the respective TV stations.
All I can say is thanks very much to the UFC, because it's good time to be a fight fan with no other sport on, I tell you. And we've seen some excellent cards. We really have. So, all right, gents, we're going to have to leave it there. Jay, where can people get you on social media?
Justin Ferrier on all the platforms.
All right. Not Biggie Smalls or anything like that, eh?
No, it is. They've got their own Instagram account. But yeah, you can find me KZ in MMA. You can find us there. And G's all over the place.
G's all over the place. Soldier Boy.
Feet up from the feet up. Yeah.
Feet up from the feet up.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's been great catching up, and we'll chat again next week as we dissect UFC Fight Night, as well as Miocic against Daniel Cormier. Apparently, that's set for August. So we'll see how that one plays out. Well, look, it's going to be a cracker. Thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe. It's been MMA Uncaged.
Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever. Go. And there will be no surrender. Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me J.O.N. to the easy E-N. Know that we undefeated, y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance. But his lines are overhead, better check the air for clearance. Call the tower, this is ours, clear the heat, the air apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy, this is forever. All the more times I've been severed, I'm raising the bar, you can go ahead and measure. Think about time for a toast. Time that we welcome to go. Y'all were just leaving it no. This right here.